You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.
How is everybody doing this morning? I'm going to get a mic check before I get started. Let me know if you guys can hear me okay. Let me know if you can hear me okay. My room is dark as hell. I got to get that fixed. Pretty covered here. I'm also changing this light. Maybe it's my autism, but the light that I have on here from the Richmond Expo, it's too yellow, and I do not like it. It makes me look gangrenous. Still not completely unpacked, which was, yeah. And I kind of lost my voice a little bit there on Martin Luther King Day, or Inauguration Day, however you want to call it. Let's see, got some chat people here. Good morning, sounds good. Travis says everything sounds good. Awesome. We got some football games today. Sorry about this being late. It had some computer issues. Had to get my I had a backup computer. I got it for my birthday in December, but I didn't really change things over to it because it's annoying when you have a Mac and an iPhone and you're in that network transferring everything over. So I was like, I'm going to wait till after Richmond. And then this old computer's having issues. So anyway, apologies. So what we're going to be doing is going over the rules for the tournament. I'm putting this out on all platforms. That way Patreon members can find it. And then I'm going to re-upload this as a podcast episode too. So you have an audio version just to kind of go over the rules. And then the PDF for the rules will be on Patreon and the private members only Facebook group as well. I'm pretty sure, I haven't checked the Tourney X app, but I'm pretty sure nobody has actually started to fish yet since everything's frozen over, but we're going to be getting into that here in a minute. So we have enough people here. We're going to be talking about it. So let me share my screen and we'll get into it right here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Frostbite Frenzy. This is a Patreon members only fishing tournament. How this all works for people that are listening that are not Patreon members, basically Patreon is like our club. It's like if you do any kind of fishing club, any type of club you've ever been a part of, that's basically what Patreon is. And what we're looking at here is my Patreon club, and this is a members only fishing tournament. The reason I do that is because I can guarantee payouts. You might ask with how much stuff I give away, how I can do that. And that's because I dip into my private bank account to make sure that everything is paid for. And so that's what makes these tournaments so really, really cool, in my opinion, is you have to be a private member to do this and be a part of our secret club. But the kicker is when we have these tournaments, there's insanely good paybacks, more bang for your buck. And so that is why I kind of do it the way I do. It's a gatekeeping thing to make sure that it's the people that are really loyal that have helped keep Fishing the DMV alive. They get to have access to this tournament with a lot of great prizes, trophies, and whatnot. Example is McCluskey forgot his Big Fish Award, but I'll show this off to everybody here. Boom. This was the award that I was giving out for Big Fish Award for the Mary Bassmas Bash. And there's also a trophy for just top 10, things like that. We are going to be giving away trophies. I'm in the process of purchasing the trophies for the Halloween Bash tournament. They're going to have everyone's names on them from that event just because I'm so late getting them out there and I feel like a jackass because of that. And then I'll be ordering the trophies for the Frostbite Frenzy. So without further ado, let us get into the rules. Let me share my old screen and let's go with the window. Perfect. There we go. All right, cool. The Frostbite Frenzy. All right, this is our next Patreon members only event that we have here. And the dates on it are January 25th to March 30th. So that's basically like a fiscal quarter of the year. Why are we going so long? Well, when I decided to have this brainchild of doing a winter tournament, that was before it decided to be the coldest winter in 180 years or whatever. So everything was kind of set to do it in the wintertime because we usually have it can be chilly. Every now and then it gets cold, but this is like the ocean was frozen solid. The Chesapeake Bay was frozen. The Susquehanna River stopped. It was like cold as shit. Whoops. So instead of just being a winter event, I tacked it into the pre-spawn as well, basically. So it's all of February, all of March, and a week in January is going to be the Frostbite Frenzy this year. Very long tournament. The nice thing about this is you don't have to go fishing right away. when we get into kind of the limit and stuff, it's very easy. If you want to sign up and not even go fishing until March, it gives you a whole month to win the thing, and you probably could. So it's definitely nice with that big breath that you're not going to be blown away with this thing. It's not every fish counts. It's going to be a limit size, and we'll get into that as well. All right, so let's get into some of the rules here. It's going to start. It's already started. It started yesterday morning at 7 a.m. If you are a Patreon member and you signed up through Patreon and TourneyX, you receive the code. If you didn't receive the code and I can validate that you're a Patreon member, I can send you the ID code as well, and everything. We'll get that straightened out. The entry fee is $45, which is not bad when I'm guaranteeing, I think it's, hold on, because I got math here. And right now we have 14 people signed up. And again, it's January, so I'm guaranteeing over $1,400 in prizes, and we only have like nobody signed up right now at this point. So for $45, it's a really great bang for your buck. If by some miracle we do get over 40 participants, I will increase the payouts across the board, and I'll show you kind of how that all works. So let's scroll down to the other thing here. All right, so measuring boards and all that other stuff. Let's start with the fish limits. You're gonna go with your best 8. It's gonna be largemouth and smallmouth caught during the tournament period. Okay, and in theory, if you want to do spotted bass, you can, but that's going to be considered a largemouth. It's not specifically stated because there's only so few places you can actually catch them, but in theory, that would count as a largemouth. So caught during the tournament period. You need a valid fishing license for the water that you are fishing. And then measuring board. I prefer and would like you to use a kayak style measuring board. Why? Because it has all the micro measurements. In a kayak tournament, we would do 12 inches. And actually, let me show you. Hold on. Let me grab my board. I also have no idea why I had earbuds in because I'm not talking to anybody. But anyway, let me show you this thing. So let me go wide screen here. So this would be a Yak Attack, or this is a Kitech board right here. All right, it has the fence here, but the biggest thing with this is the measurements. You see how it goes 7 inches, it goes 1/4, half, 75, 8. You need these kind of measurements because of how we do this tournament. So example is, if you catch a bass and it's not quite 12 and a half inches, you would round down and it would be 12.25 inches. If you catch one that is over a half, so let's just say it's 17 and a half, you'd probably put 17.5 inches. And then if it's over that, right there on this line right here in between, that would be 17.75 inches. That's kind of how it's done. So it would be 17, 2.5, 17 and a half, 17.75. And then if it doesn't quite touch, let's say 17 and a half, we round down. It's generally speaking how we do it. So having one of these rulers is really important to get that. Now I had somebody, he was an older gentleman, hasn't done this before. I think this was in the Halloween bash tournament, that he didn't have the ruler and he duct taped like 2 or 3 rulers together, like measured it and wrapped it. And it was adorable. I allowed it, but I told him I allowed it for the measurements that he already took because he didn't know. What I told him was, I'm not going to be able to give you the benefit of the doubt on those micro inches. I can see that the fish is over 12 inches, so I'll count it as 12. But I can't in good conscience give you those extra micro things when it's kind of a guess. So getting one of those boards is extremely helpful for these kind of events. And there are so many tournaments outside of what I do. Again, Shane Flynn Outdoors, go check him out. He has great tournaments. I think they're free with a shit ton of prizes. I mean, that dude is backed. He's like Mr. Beast when it comes to this stuff. One day I'll have as much money as him, or as much sponsors as him. I'm teasing, bud. But the point is, really good tournament. Go check him out. But you can fish a BFL or the Lake Anna Winter Series, have this board. You catch a 22-inch fish, throw it on the board, take a picture of it, and hey, you might win bonus bucks. It's just a neat little thing. Like as a boat angler, you could just bonus bucks. Sign up for an event that's a month long. And you know what? I know I'm fishing this BFL right now, but this fish might win me an extra $200. Who knows? So cool little thing. I highly suggest investing in one of these boards. This right here is a label holder. So example is, If you're going to be fishing big kayak events, you can get one of these little Velcro stickers here. So it just holds your ID card. Super easy. For my tournament, and we're going to get that into the rules here, you don't need that. Once you get the QR code in the morning, or the code in the morning, you can Sharpie that on your hand. You can Sharpie it on a piece of paper, put it up above there. I'm going to be super chill with that. No problem. So anyway, those are the boards. I highly suggest getting one at some point. If you don't have one at the start of the tournament, I might let it slide. You just have to show me what you got. But I highly encourage you to try to get one of these nicer boards just to have it in your boat. It's just really nice for taking pictures of fish. It really would make your life so much easier going forward. And if you need help getting one, maybe I can try to help you out. But anyway, let's continue. So that's how that's going to work. So any big kayak board is perfectly fine. Not too stickler on that. We're not competing for $100,000 here. Measuring the fish. This is really, really important. And I got a nice little picture of that. I'm going to show everybody. La 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 la. Where is it? Alrighty. And I got a nice little picture to show everybody with this one here. You need to make sure that entire screen, boom. When you're measuring the fish, I'm sorry, man. My voice is terrible this morning. When you're measuring the fish, don't worry about this stuff as much. You need to make sure that his jaw is touching the fence and it's closed. Now, when I say that, does it have to be completely firmly shut? No, because I think on the efficacy, like the fish might have an issue with his mouth. I don't want you to smash it shut and break the fish's mouth either. If it's like, I need a magnifying glass to see that's creaked open, I'm not going to be that kind of jackass. I'm just not. But I've had people do it where the mouth is like 100% open against the board. Yeah, that's going to count as a penalty. And basically what happens with the penalty is, let's say you're at 12.5 inches is what you input. What I would do is take you down to 12.25 inches. That's the penalty that would be incurred to the fish. The fish is not kicked off, whatever. That's how it works. A couple of things that are important with this. I don't care about the gill plate thing. If you're doing this right, it's not going to harm the fish. It's about controlling it. The faster you can control the fish, the faster you can get it back into the water. That's my viewpoint on this thing. So if you're covering the gill plate, I really don't care. Just don't cover the eyes. That's the one thing, is try not to cover the eyes, because then I can't see if the fish is touching the fence. And then make sure the shot's wide enough. When I go through every single fish photo that is sent in, or I have some bots do it, and we double check all the photos, and we can zoom in. So make sure the picture is extremely wide angle. I need to be able to see the whole fence, and I need to see at least an inch past the fish. That would be extremely helpful. And then somewhere, like in this photo, the QR code is available, the code that I'm going to send you. Okay. If you have those things done, perfect. The other thing is, you do not need your hand in the photo. Okay. This person has it in the photo, but if you're in a jet boat, let's just say, or you're in your Ranger, and you just lay the fish down on the board, he is touching the fence here, and you stand up and just take a photo of it, perfect. I'll accept that too. No issues there. So I really hope that helps. And that is the rule with fish handling. And again, don't worry, I'm going to upload this as a podcast episode and as a regular episode so everyone can hear it. All right. Anyway, back to the old rules here. So that's how that works. Request submission. You need to take a picture of the fish and you upload it to the Tourney X app. We just went through the mouth policy. That's super easy there. Fishing methods. I mean, you all know this since you're Patreon. This is a Patreon members tournament. You already know this. This is our third tournament that we've done. You can fish from anywhere. You can fish from a boat. You can fish from a raft. You can fish from an air mattress, a canoe. I do not care. A bank. We had a guy that won big fish. Victor Albert won a big rock bass, which he's going to be getting that special trophy for that. Fishing from shore. So that's perfectly fine. You can do that from whatever you're capable of doing. And we've had people that are from a kayak that won, and we've had people from a jet boat that have done extremely well. We've had people from a little John boat done well. And we've had guys from the bank. Bruce has fished from a little bit of everything. So it's really cool how you're allowed to do any of that stuff. So here is something I haven't figured out, which is tiebreakers. Tiebreaker, largest fish by length, of course. Second would be the largest, second tiebreaker would be the second largest fish from length. and then most fish submitted, and then coin flip. That is for some reason if we have a tie for overall winner. Big fish is going to be a little interesting. We'll talk about that later. Tourney X app, what you do is you become a Patreon member. You have to sign up as a Weekend Warrior tier, the Weekend Warrior tier. And from there, you're going to get access to our private Facebook group, discount on Jake's Bait and Tackle, and a bunch of my sponsors that I have right now, private content, all that. And then you'll also get the password to join the tournament and to pay and sign up for the tournament. From there, download the Tourney X app, and you'll have that on your phone. That's how you take pictures and you upload them. Okay. Now, this is the fun difference here. Okay. And it was hard for me to figure this out mentally about payback, because I do want to, because this is members only, I want to make sure they get really good bang for their buck. So I don't want to jack up entry fees way too much. You know, PayPal, which is part of Tourney X, takes $2. And then Tourney X app, I believe, takes $7. So of that $45 entry fee, almost $10 are gone already in fees. So I really don't want to go ludicrous with how much I charge my Patreon members, because that's not fair. It's a members only tournament. Maybe if we do some open tournaments, we could figure something out where the Patreons just get a big discount. But because of that, I got to be mindful of how much money I can put in out of my own pocket without making my wife completely pissed off because I'm just randomly sponsoring a tournament for shits and giggles. But I wanted to see how hard it was back during the Halloween bash to have one tournament but different winners. The Tourney X app does not allow you to separate things out and say biggest fish of different species. You still got to go look for it. To do a biggest smallmouth, biggest largemouth, you still have to look for it. So I got in a good habit of using an Excel spreadsheet, and every couple of days I just re-update the Excel spreadsheet with everything. And so I got in a good habit about that after the Halloween and the Mary Bassmas tournament. So I felt comfortable, like, okay, what I really want to try to do is have a overall winner and a smallmouth only division. And it's all baked into the same cake. A lot of good feedback on this. I was a little nervous because by doing this, it did separate the prize money some, because it's all going into one pot, because you never know who's going to sign up for what. And I was a little nervous about that because I couldn't pay down as far for each division since I had to split it. And so we're paying 6 spots, basically, but it's going to be 3 and 3. So let me show you how all this, let me talk to you about how all this works. What we're going to do is you're going to have an overall winner, which is basically the mixed bag or a largemouth only. What does that mean? So if you catch 7 smallmouth, and then you catch a 15-inch largemouth to fill out your bag, because remember, it's the best 8 for placing, that would count you as a mixed bag or largemouth only limit, and that would kick you over. Overall winner for smallmouth is just pure smallmouth. So my Shenandoah River guys, my New River guys, my Susquehanna River guys, Upper Potomac guys, as long as it's your best 8 smallmouth, boom, you're right there qualified for that. So just a heads up there. Now, the difference is when it comes to the Big Fish Awards, okay? So, as we did last time, which a lot of people loved, we are going to do the largest Pennsylvania smallmouth, the largest Maryland smallmouth, the largest Virginia smallmouth, and then so far, because I had to split the baby so much with prize money, I'm only doing 2 largemouth right now. I really wanted to do a third, but I gotta figure out the cost and everything, because it's about $300 for the plaque, or $262 for all the plaques. So I had to make sure that we don't get over crazy. Again, if we get 40 people signed up, I'll adjust the payouts. But how does this work? On the app, it'll tell me kind of the general area you're fishing. And it doesn't give me GPS coordinates, but it'll show me like it's the Upper Potomac, it's the Susquehanna. And that's all I want. It's just to make sure that where you're fishing will qualify you for that award, but then also for cheating as in private public water. And we're going to talk about that as well here soon. But anyway, so these are the awards for big fish, $100 plus a really fancy, cool plaque. Something that I want to keep in mind here is if you are in a mixed bag and you catch a 23-inch smallmouth, you can still qualify for big fish. Big fish is completely different. If you have a smallmouth, the only thing that would mess you up on is here. If you catch a 23-inch largemouth and you put it in, yeah, it probably will kick you off of the smallmouth only limit, but you would still get $100 in a plaque for big largemouth. That's just how we're going to be doing it right now. And again, if I somehow win the lottery, or if you guys know of anyone that might want to sponsor these fishing tournaments, shameless plug, I can throw more money at this and I can jack it up a little bit higher. So anyway, that's what we got there. And if you guys have any questions, just let me know in the comment section right now. And this is what I said here. Right now, I think we have like, what did I say? We have 14 people signed up. And so pretty good for guaranteeing $1,600 in cash. If we get 40 participants, I'll be able to really flesh out more prizes and cash going all the way down. I think that's pretty much everything. Oh, this is a big one, especially for right now. This has been up a couple of times. This is a safety thing. Participants are encouraged to fish together due to the colder weather. So let's say you have a boat. You are, I don't know, let's say you're in your 60s, you're in a jet boat, you want to go out there and fish, but you don't want to fish alone because it's a safety thing. If you fall over, you're kind of screwed. What I'm allowing is you can go fish with another competitor on the same boat together. That's perfectly fine. I would rather that happen than my consciousness of you dying because it's like Tom said, you could only fish alone. No. You can fish together on any craft. It's perfectly fine. It's safety. It's freezing, and it'll probably be cold all the way through March. So you're more than welcome to fish with a non-competitor or competitor out of any watercraft just because it's a safety thing. I want to make sure people are safe and you have a buddy there to help you in case there was a person that I knew, Basky was telling me this. I think it was at the Richmond Expo. He was just unhooking his boat and he was by himself at the boat ramp and he slipped. He fell in the water, he hit his head, and he died. He just got hypothermia. It was a thing. So yes, fish together, please. It's super cold. If you're fishing out of a kayak, please make sure you wear the correct gear. There is a waiver form. You do not have to sign the waiver form, this second, but I'd like you to sign the waiver form and send it to me. This is really important for like the kayak guys that you're wearing the proper gear and you're going to be safe. And I think that is about it, except this thing here. Where is it? I think it's up here. This is a big one. I want to make sure we hit on this. Fishing is permitted in any public access water. Okay, so if you have to own a house, it is not public water. So you just need to really make sure about that. So if you have to go to, let's say, there's a private lake in Maryland, really good fishing, and if you own a house or a friend that has a house so you can have entrance to it, that doesn't count because it's not available to everyone necessarily. Now, it's one thing if it's just a fee that you have to pay. So example is Hunting Run Reservoir, when it's open, you have to pay a boat ramp fee. That's perfectly fine. I'm just talking when you get into the craziness of you have to own a house on it to be able to get into there, or you need to have a special boat and you have to pay like a ludicrous amount of money to actually fish the place. That doesn't, to me, qualify as fair use because what is acceptable to most people? I think most people in Virginia and Maryland understand paying a ramp fee or something like that. But if it's as ludicrous as you have to have a special boat that can only fish that body of water nowhere else, I'm talking like the Baltimore reservoirs. It's kind of a hybrid of being private, not being private. Lake Manassas is also out. I had somebody ask me about that. You can't fish Lake Manassas. I'm sorry, because in theory, you will get shot if you fish there. It's illegal. And so, yeah, you can't fish that in my tournament. Sorry. There's a shit ton of public places that you can fish and you can go. So, and that's basically it. Anyone have any questions before I stop this thing? And then I'll clip this thing, edit it, and make it all clean and nice so that everyone can see it again. Again, if you want to be a Patreon supporter, if you want to join the tournament, you can. I am going to remove the registration deadline. So if you would like to register, I think the registration deadline was in a week and a half. I'm kicking that to March 1st, I believe, is what I was telling people. I'm going to kick that registration to March 1st. So you have time to sign up for this event if you want to. It gives you a whole month to get into this tournament. Let me see if we've got any good questions here. ID code. Let's see. We got thanks for the cameo in your wife's video. Yeah, that was absolutely hilarious. It's her birthday today, by the way, guys. It is her birthday, Sunday, January 26th. So go over to her Facebook page and wish her a happy birthday. Any other questions? Oh, we had one good question, which was like ID code. So basically, yeah. If you're a Patreon member, you have multiple ways you can get a hold of me. You all know that. So once you become a member, you get way more access to me. If you have an issue with the code, just let me know. I will call you and walk you through the process if need be. I do not care. I'm here to help you guys out. We're going to be doing updates probably weekly once people start rolling in catches about how the tournament is going and proceeding. And then we're going to have a meetup. Probably it's going to be around the 1st of April is what I'm thinking. Around April sometime. It just depends because April is really busy for fishing. And then we're going to do another tournament. We are going to do a July-August tournament. That is going to be in the books. And then we're going to take September off because then we have the Halloween bash. And then we have the holiday bash tournament back to back. So we are going to do one in July and August. What I am thinking of is, do we take April off and do May and June? Or do we just do a 1 month tournament in May? Or do you guys want to fish a month-long tournament in April? Let me know. Because I know I pushed this one to March 30th. You guys got to let me know what you want to do for the spring tournament. I'll put this up on Patreon and our private Facebook group to kind of get that figured out. And what we're going to do for our meetup as well. Again, it's going to be your best 8 fish caught in the tournament. And you have all of March and you have all of February to get those best 8 done. You have basically 30 days in March to figure out how to catch 8. So I think that's very reasonable. I like to do 8 because the bigger the sample size is, the more it weighs down that you can't just clock into a 21 incher and just you won, congratulations. And it helps bring the Susquehanna down a little bit. If you do a 5 fish limit or a 4 fish limit, in my opinion, it makes it a lot easier for certain places to do better. But if you lengthen that up, it gives people a fighting chance. You can't go to Mooney and just, anyway, that's just my thought. If you guys don't like that format and you want to make it smaller, just let me know with that as well. It looks like we have no questions, which is insane that no one has questions about how this tournament's going to operate. Cool. We got B. Cal Jr. saying, I'm shooting to win this time. Absolutely. And then, it's up to you guys because because there's no board I have to talk to about this. It's basically you guys, and we can make adjustments to the tournament. It sounded like you guys really wanted a smallmouth division. If this is what you want, sign up, show your support to it, and I'll keep doing a smallmouth division. It's really up to you guys. So on that front, the last thing I'm going to mention is this. We only have 24 more Patreon spots available for the Weekend Warrior so you can get into these tournaments, okay? 24 more spots. Double check your Patreon subscription to make sure it's good. What will happen when we reach these 24? I am on the back end, I'm shutting it down so no one else can join the group. Okay? It's going to be 100% private at that point, and we'll probably go 6 months to a year before I open it back up. And when I open it back up, it'll be a new tier, a separate tier. So you all will be grandfathered in for life with everything you got and the rates. I'll create a new tier in 6 months to a year that is going to be capped with how many people can join again, and it's going to be a little bit more expensive with inflation and adjustments. So again, if you want to fish the rest of the tournaments for this year, and we're going to have at least 3 more, possibly 4 if we figure out the spring one, and all the benefits and everything else, you only have 24 more spots to get locked in before I shut it down and no one else is allowed to join. And that's the group that we're rolling with for the rest of the tournaments and the rest of the year. You can join as a free individual. If you want to donate just to help the podcast go, you can, but there's only 24 more spots. And then the club is basically set for 2025. And then I'll roll out a new package if people want to join for 2026 and beyond. But this is the way I can show love and to make sure we have a really tight-knit group. Here's also the other boogie. I'm debating on if somebody cancels, whether we just keep the group the way it is or I offer that one spot up to the public. I'm 50-50 on it. Part of me says, no, these are the OGs, and if they cancel, that's on them, but we're not going to replace the spot, and if they want to rejoin back, it's going to be at a higher tier in a year. That's kind of my thought process with this, because this is supposed to be like a tight-knit community is what I'm trying to do here, and so that is the way we're going to keep it. So make sure you double check your Patreon subscription, make sure it's good. If you have an issue to where like it's just weird, a credit card bounced or whatever, I'm not going to boot you completely. We can get you re-signed up, especially for all of my OGs out there. But 24 more spots available on Patreon for 2025. And then we will wait and see you next year for all the other tournaments, which will be the Frostbite Frenzy again. And then, yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be really fun. I'm working on the summertime tournament in my head now because I don't know why. And then I'm going to work backwards to the spring event once I figure out when we want to do the spring event. But the summer one is going to be legit lit with multiple species. We're going to have snakehead available, bluegill, crop, like a lot of different things. And it's going to be, because it's the time you can catch almost anything and you can catch a lot. So it's going to be way more Major League Fishing style, but it'll be a lot of fun to see what is caught, what is brought onto the scales. But yeah, that's the kind of thought process I have right now for the summer. And then I'm going to talk to all you guys on Patreon and Facebook about what you want to do for a spring event, how you want to make that work, because everyone else has tournaments and obligations and stuff. And did you just want to take the spring off from our tournaments and wait? That's your call. I'll leave it up to you and we'll talk about that later. Anyway, if you're not already, go sign up as a Patreon member right now. You can sign up for the year. You get 8% off. I think it's like $66. And then you'll get access to everything, including the tournament that's already going on. You have from now, which is Sunday, January. Well, you have until the tournament started, I can think. Saturday, January 25th. So it's going on now in time of recording. It goes from Saturday, January 25th until March 30th. So you have 2 months and some change to catch 8 bass. I'm going to drop the rules again on Patreon and the private Facebook group so you can take a look at them. And yeah, if you have any questions, just let me know. And hail to the Redskins and hail to the Bills. May the Bills destroy all the Swifties out there. You guys, your time is over. You're more petulant than the Patriots. I'm just going to say that right up front. Yeah, everyone have a wonderful day. Be safe on the water. If you guys got any questions, please let me know. And I'll talk to you guys later. Toodles. You're listening to Fishing the DMV with your host, Thomas Ahrens. Fishing the DMV is brought to you by Jake's Bait and Tackle, located in Winchester, Virginia.
If that doesn't get you jacked up, I don't know what will.